prepared. Say hi, Joey only. Say hi, Joey only.
Hi, Joey only.
I'm Frankie Down. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Joey Only's a really nice guy. He fights fires in Wales, British Columbia. Joey Only fights fires in Wales, British Columbia. He's a comedian plus meteorological weather report. I got a ton of fans all over the world, and I'm on radio stations: CFUR 88.7 FM, Prince George, CKUW 95.9 FM, and CFBX 92.5 FM in Kamloops. It's on Shaw Spotlight TV and Shaw TV all across the entire country of Canada. It's regular TV, not a social media. Joey Only's a really nice guy. I'm on his podcast every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic on his YouTube channel, Comedeorological Weather Report, Caribou Weather 2 YouTube channel. Joey Only's a really nice guy. He fights fires in Wales, British Columbia. Best luck to him, Frank Down. You're listening to Joey Only Show every Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Atlantic, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey only.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Be prepared.
Good morning, Prince George. Good afternoon, Winnipeg. Good evening, Kamloops. Hello, whenever Shaw Spotlight viewers. This is the Comedeorological Report. I'm your host, Joey Only, up here in Wells, British Columbia in the Caribou Mountains. This is just a show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. And it does. There's thunderstorms going on all over right now. And Brandon Houck is finally with us. Wow, I thought we were going to miss out on Brandon Houck tonight, but no, he's just showing up to the show, so that's good, because I got lots of questions about whether to ask him. But also we got Imogen Cookie Bailey, who's just come back from outer space. We got Hilding Donaldson, who's a space cowboy. Janet Dermody from Cape Breton Originals, a podcast out there, and love having her on. Been a while, so that's great. But of course, the man himself, Frankie McDonald. Frankie, how you doing so far, buddy?
I'm doing great so far. They get a heat wave heading for Eastern Canada and the United States and America. It's going to bring cooler weather in Thunder Bay, Ontario this weekend and next week. It's going to bring cooler weather all across Minnesota, Kenora, Ontario. It's going to bring cooler weather. It's going to bring hot and humid and heat warning for Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick, Quebec, Maine, New Hampshire, Boston, New York City, all the way down to Florida. Texas is getting dangerous heat. Same with Arizona and California, those places. And right now, lots of heat going on in Europe, too. They had a dangerous windstorm in Germany on Wednesday. They knocked out power, damaged buildings, things like this in Germany. It was a winter-like windstorm in Germany.
Wow, a big windstorm in Germany. Must have.
And you got lots of snow in New Zealand lately, too, in Queenstown, New Zealand. Lots of rain and snow in New Zealand. It's Southern Hemisphere winter right now.
Yeah, that's normal for there. And, of course, it's probably pretty cold in Antarctica right now.
Snow is normal in New Zealand? Really?
This is their winter. Their days are getting longer. Their shortest day of the year was June 21st.
In many ways, New Zealand can be comparable to British Columbia. For, of course, it's more of a coastal place because it's an island, right? So it's, the mountains still get snow.
Mm.
So there's that. Frankie, talk to us about Western Canada. It's really hot and there's lots of fires.
Sometime in the second half of July, it's going to get a heat wave in Vancouver possible.
Well, it's already getting pretty hot this week, Frankie. What do you think about all the thunderstorms coming in today? There were some good ones. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be the show in southern BC.
It's going to bring a lot of bad ones, triggering a lot of fires and things like this. It's going to bring really bad fires in British Columbia. So right now, it's going to bring really hot weather in interior California, cool weather in the coastal areas of California. Because the water is cold by the coast. Base guy had no power on Thursday.
What happened to Base Guy?
He had no power because too many people were running the air conditioners in Montreal.
Oh, no. Wait, speaking of air conditioners, Frankie, I didn't have to turn mine on. Where's the heat?
In Montreal, Quebec, where Base Guy lives.
Well, tell him to send it down to Cape Breton. It's cold.
I don't know if you want the heat they got. It's, even in in the east western parts of Nova Scotia, it's really hot there. And there's humidex values of like 35 expected coming in.
I know.
And what about-
It's like 21 in Cape Breton. I'm not impressed.
In Vancouver, British Columbia, it's going to get a really bad heat wave in the end of July. Hurricane season will be kicking up into high gear in September. Last year, Hurricane Fiona hit Nova Scotia, knocked out power for the week in my area.
Oh, yeah.
You know what that made me do? It made me turn my 4,000 watt generator and buy a new one into a 12,000 watt generator because I was pumping my neighbors with power. And I thought, if I got to do that again, I better get a bigger generator.
Frankie, what else you got for us worldwide?
That means that lots of storms come off the coast of Japan. They're bringing so much rain to India because of monsoon season right now. El Nino's getting stronger off the coast of Ecuador.
Yeah, talk to us about the El Nino, Frankie.
The warm waters of the Pacific. That's going to bring lots of hurricanes developing in the Pacific.
Hi to all the fans of Frankie right now who are in the chat. That makes me so happy to see. So hello to all of you. Frankie, what about outer space? There's a solar storm coming to the world tomorrow.
You have to be prepared. Satellites have to be prepared. So the astronauts and ISS have to be prepared.
Right now, there's a KP alert level of 7. So that's some aurora activity. Certainly, it's full moon going on, and well, it just happened, and it's pretty sunny in the north. So I don't know if people in the north will be seeing much for northern lights, but that is starting to go on in northern Quebec, for example. And tomorrow could be the real show if this coronal mass ejection that's slowly plodding through space does arrive. What else is going on in outer space, Frankie?
Lots of asteroids are up in the sky, too. The asteroid just bypassed the Earth on the 4th of July, 2022. AE-1 bypassed the Earth. That's the name of the asteroid.
Yes, unfortunately, it didn't hit the Earth. So that would have been some real fireworks for the 4th of July. Frankie, what videos you make this week? You make any videos, Frank?
The guy dancing and raining on the rings. That's my latest comedy video. I shot that video yesterday.
Wow, what happens?
That was my own idea. I made up my own idea.
So he's like dancing, but then onion rings come on him, or?
And that means because I had to shovel the onion rings in the end of the video. That was great.
Ah, okay. What do you think, guys? Should we watch it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a minute and I'll set it up. Who's got questions for Frankie?
Frankie, why is the heat not coming to Cape Breton? What's stopping it from crossing our causeway?
Could be Icelandic low.
Isolated what?
Icelandic low pressure system.
Oh, well, that makes sense then. Okay. That's probably exactly what it is. You're right. Is it going to go away? Is the heat going to come?
It's going to hit Newfoundland too. It's going to hit Vancouver second half of the month, in Vancouver Island, Washington State, in Portland, Oregon, where Brian Smith is at, and Trevor Garner of Trevor's Happy Hour in Orange County, California, Anaheim, California. Okay, guys, let's do the dancing. Let's show me my moves.
Those are some pretty good moves you got there, Frankie.
I love your videos, Frankie.
It would be a shame if some gorillas or bears or onion rings ruined your dancing.
Sounds like it's clouding over now. It's thunder and lightning now. Oh my God, it's raining a lot of onion rings. It's raining even more onion rings.
Oh, you need a hat.
Onion rings are getting heavier. Bring so much onion rings falling from the sky. A lot of onion rings falling from the sky now.
A lot of onion rings.
More heavy, more heavy onion rings. Onion rings won't stop.
Oh no, they won't stop.
Oh my God. Onion rings mixed with ketchup and mustard. And
oh, the onion rings won't stop
God.
at all.
Onion rings keeps on falling. Even more onion rings. A lot more onion rings. It won't stop at all. It's not letting up. The onion rings finally got away.
The onion rings
over. I better
finally
shovel
got
all the onion
away.
rings.
Oh, you gotta shovel them now. Oh yeah, it's a lot of onion rings. You gotta spread your hands out a bit, Frankie, when you shovel.
My God, Frankie, we got to find someone local to get some real food to make these videos even more authentic. And I'm feeling like I'll be
Thanks
there
for
to
watching
throw
on Fight
some
Now.
irons.
There we go.
I found out Mike the K Man is on your podcast right now.
Oh yeah. They all want you to say hi because they love you so much, Frankie.
Michael P. Mahone, that's the guy that does Facebook rankings.
Right. Yeah.
Those Facebook rankings are delightfully unhinged. If you ever get a chance to look it up, please do. It's something else. It's a random assortment of a random number of Facebook pages that he just ranks, like 1 to 37 of random people.
Who is it?
Michael P. Mahone, a.k.a. Mike the K Man.
Oh my God. I haven't heard of him. Why?
Yeah, there's no discernible reason. He just does this. It's a thing he decided to do. Facebook rankings, where he'll grab, I think the last time I looked, it was 37. He'll announce he's ranking all the pages on Facebook in order, basically of greatness, but he grabs like 37 and then he just ranks them, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. It appears to just be random people that he's ranking from 1 to 37.
Oh, there's like what, a kabillion Facebook pages, and he's got 37 ranks. Cool.
These are my
No.
fans.
Another time it was like
Hey,
or 24. Or
Frankie
something.
fans driving by. That's always the best. Who's got some question? Oh, are they going to get out and talk to you, Frankie?
In your
This is
Onion Ring video, was it raining gravy?
Wait. Hi, Frankie fans. They don't know they're on a show. Is that legal to show them if they don't know?
They're in public. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
I guess so. I could just be a
Story
CC.
only. It's story only. The Comedeorological weather report. Caribou weather do of Wales, British Columbia. It's on cable access TV in British Columbia. It's on Shaw TV.
Hi. Hello from the Milky Way.
Still getting hotter here. Still
Hi,
getting
random
hotter.
guy.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, we're the show about how much the weather sucks in Canada.
Oh yeah, the weather sucks here.
Yeah, tell me what sucks the most.
Driving around with this guy.
I'll do it.
Driving around with that guy. That was awesome. Well, we love when you get random people just on the street, Frankie. That's the best. That's the best part of it. And he's always streaming outside the burger joint there, and they still haven't given him a free burger for all his advertising from that corner.
A&W is being cheap, are they, Frankie?
A&W was built in 2017.
We don't want to say
That is a
defamatory
fun
things
trivia
on the show here.
That is
All right.
About my favorite burger joint.
Great.
You're over in Russia, you're not allowed to talk about bridges over there.
Not allowed to talk about bridges.
You're not allowed to protest over there. You're not allowed to take pictures of dams over there. Kids are always there. You're not allowed to do a lot of stuff over there. You can't protest over there.
What if
Where?
in Russia, of course.
Oh,
What if you're talking about Jeff Bridges? Are you allowed to talk about Jeff Bridges?
No.
No, can't even talk. And Lloyd Bridges, can you talk about him? Great actors.
That country's super strict over there now. You're not allowed to have outside world over in Russia now.
So
Not allowed to talk about Jeff or Lloyd Bridges.
what did they ever do to Russia? I mean, my God.
Well, they've gone crazy, apparently.
Oh, I missed it. And maybe others did too. Do tell the short version.
Any other questions for Frankie before we get on to Brandon Hauk here?
Yes.
Frankie
Frankie-
has a question for Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie, do you have a question for yourself?
That means over Iran. What's going on over in Iran?
It's
Tell us,
hot.
Frankie, what's going over in Iran?
No Western culture allowed.
Yeah, I guess not, eh? So you can't get teen burgers there either. That's my favorite. Frankie McDonald out in Sydney, Nova Scotia. He's going to be with us all show long. And we're going to jump from, that was the Frankie Global Report. We're going to go right to Western Canada weather with Brandon Hauk. And Brandon, there's been severe thunderstorms going on right now in Alberta. We got a couple, that line outside Calgary looks jacked. And we had some pretty good ones in the Caribou today. We got one sort of coming into the Caribou from Prince George. I don't know if that's still severe warm. We got one's up at Wannawan and Fort St. John. We got warnings and for heat all over, including up at the Arctic Ocean. Brandon Hauk, one of my big questions for you, though, before we get into things, is when I look at the ISO bars this week for the predictions for British Columbia weather, I see a lot of what we call troughs and ridges, right? So I'd like, strange bends where, here's your low, but it's got this long sort of tail squeezing up and the storms are forming on that. We're seeing a lot of that kind of thing. Can you explain that?
Yes. So you get your low pressure systems, you get your little inverted troughs. So whenever you get your inverted troughs, that's what you get your big storms start going up and down, up and down the mountains there through the passes. And at least you get so you've got a lot of Cape values. You get multi-Cape values up to about 2,000, 3,000 joules per kilogram. That's the energy to produce those storms. You get enough shear, you get enough energy, and whammo, you get your storms.
So yeah, that one's still severe warn here in Caribou. The last update was at 6:30, nickel-sized hail. It was located over Wansa Lake, 40 kilometers east of Prince George, moving southward at only 10 kilometers an hour. So some real slow-moving storms. So talk to us about British Columbia is going to light up for the next week, man.
Oh, yes. We're going to heat things. Well, things have already heated up across British Columbia. And as we go into next week here, we're going to see the potential for storms to start to ramp up here for both BC and Alberta for the next, for basically the next week here. So an unstable air mass, you got a trough in the jet stream. You get, even though we have kind of a dirty high over top of British Columbia, but that's still going to allow for those storms to pop up, and we're going to have to keep an eye out for dry lightning, especially as we go throughout most of next week.
Right. Yes. If I look at my long-range forecast this morning, it said basically 8 of the 9 next days are going to be thundering around here, and we've seen that today. There was some good activity just around the hills here. Could hear the thunder. I saw one bolt of lightning. It was awesome.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, you got dunked in a dunk tank last week.
Yes, I sure did. Got in the dunk tank there, at least I'd say about 20-ish times. It was fun, actually. It was 35 degrees, so it was like perfect weather to be in the dunk tank. And they made it extra icy and icy cold, so it was like perfect, absolutely perfect. And then we had some severe weather over last week as well. Friday, we had some supercells roll off the foothills. And then while I was I got out of the dunk tank, I got asked to judge the pie eating contest. And that was, there was some really good pie, I have to say. And then my phone went, that sound when the emergency alert goes off there. And
we just kind of heard that, didn't we?
Oh, yes. So that means tornado warning. And we had a significant tornado actually touch down between Didsbury and Carstairs there on Saturday afternoon. And it did some damage, some significant damage, actually. We had some damage to at least 14 homes were damaged. Luckily, there were no injuries during that significant tornado. But it was rated a couple of days ago EF4, which makes it the strongest tornado since end of July there of 1987, the Black Friday tornado.
Yes.
So that was in Edmonton back in 1987. So this was the...
Were you even around then?
I was not around. Nope.
I went to help clean up after that one.
So what's that tornado warning you just got?
Oh, I don't have a tornado warning right now. That was last Saturday.
Okay. I thought that dinging you were just talking about.
Oh, the dinging on my phone, that's the severe thunderstorm warnings in Calgary.
Yeah, okay.
In the Calgary area. So
I'm looking at that. I'm like, I don't see any tornadoes in there. What are you talking about?
Brandon's just really excited about the weather. Brandon's in an uncharacteristically good mood.
Very good mood tonight. Yes.
Well, Brendan, you said about dry lightning. What's the difference of when we get lightning with rain versus lightning without rain? What happens differently?
So when you get dry lightning, that means there is no rain falling at all from the thunderstorm cloud. So pretty much.
That's Captain Obvious, but what's the picture look like in the sky?
Oh, yeah.
No rain coming down.
Well, there is probably some rain, but it's evaporating before reaching the ground. So that means it's called virga, which is rain that evaporates before reaching the ground. And then you get a thunder cell above you. And dry lightning, it can spark fires, especially in British Columbia. But with dry lightning, you don't get any rain. So it's not great.
But most times we get lightning, it's wet. So I was just wondering why.
This mostly happens more so BC, Alberta, not so much on the East Coast. So
no, that's what I was saying. We really don't get dry lightning.
Your storms out east tend to be more water heavy for sure, right? I had something and I just lost it.
One thing in watching lightning storms is the lightning storms we have here in BC are often several layers of clouds. It's raining in between the layers of clouds, but not reaching the ground. Back east, when I noticed thunderstorms, they were more closer to the ground, and it was like the lightning was working from the cloud to the ground.
What I was going to say, Brandon, is that's one thing I'm noticing a lot in the projections for the next week in British Columbia is a lot of these thunderstorm predictions aren't coming with significant rainfall of any kind.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we were
More
looking
so for Alberta.
We're pre-show. We're pre-show when Brandon wasn't here this time.
Whoops.
And
late.
Yes, we were looking at how since last week, all the indices for the drought codes, the fine fuel moisture code, the buildup index, all those indices have gone way up in British Columbia since last week. So we're looking at now the setup for a good fire season, and it's going to be lightning city tomorrow. And there's not anywhere in the forecast in the next week rain to, so we're seeing some of those areas where they're predicting for thunderstorms could see like less than a millimeter of rain. You're going to have, typically what's going to happen too with dry lightning possible as well, Janet, is you have your storm, it's got a kind of a core, but it's sort of like this, and lightning striking over here and over there and up here, and maybe occasionally where it's raining.
Hey, Brandon, when you're in China back then, what things you're not allowed to do in China?
Things I was not allowed to do in China. Well, I know if I broke any of those rules, I'd get thrown into the back of the van and taken away. So, probably, I was extra careful when I was in China. I was. But I don't think I broke any. No, I didn't break any rules. That was a good thing. So
I think you'd remember that. I mean, you're such a good boy that it would be a really memorable event.
What things you're not allowed to do in Russia?
Oh, what am I not? I've never been to Russia, so I don't know what I'm not allowed to do.
Speak freely. Not allowed to do that in Russia.
You're not allowed to talk about what you're not allowed to do in Russia.
What else you're not allowed to do in Russia?
Probably should put pants on. Yeah, you shouldn't be running around with no pants, right?
I mean, that's just general social courtesy anywhere. So that's a global request. Every government asks that the people wear pants. Actually, most of the people ask that their neighbors
wear
pants.
What about Saudi Arabia and the Middle East? What things you're not allowed to do in the Middle East?
Oh, boy.
Not allowed to wear a parka.
Oh, yeah.
You're not allowed to sit on a camel. I don't know.
Can't wear camel.
Not allowed to skate on the sand.
Okay, and who's tried it? What about skiing? I bet you can ski on the sand.
Yeah, not allowed to ski there. Can't ski. Can't snowmobile on the sand.
They can't toboggan.
They have really strict laws over in the Middle East.
What do they stop them right at the airport?
You're not allowed to leave your ice cream outside there.
Mm-hmm.
Who would leave their ice cream outside anyways?
Well, it will melt.
Well, yeah, but what did you buy it for?
Well,
okay.
One thing with China there, when we went there, it was after it was a little after that H1N1 virus there, and they were.
But it was popular.
It was popular, yes, and they were really concerned about being sick. So we had to go through kind of a testing protocol to make sure that we were not sick. And I had the sniffles, so I cheated my way through that testing protocol in China. So it's just I can do the trip and not get sent back home. Because if they caught you sneezing or you were sick, you're going on the plane going right back home again.
How did you trick them? How were you?
So Brandon did break a law in China.
Yeah.
So I kind of did. Yes.
He brought aviation flu back to Canada.
It was you. Guilty.
A lot of forest fires going on in Siberia lately.
Yeah, a lot of them, eh?
A lot of forest fires going on in Irkutsk region in Siberia, Russia. A lot of forest fires going on in Irkutsk region.
How many do you think, Frankie?
A lot over in Irkutsk.
Okay, I'm gonna.
What's
Look
their
at this.
temperature like this time of year? Are they
Frankie's
hot too?
right.
Or are they
Extremely hot in June, July, and August. In early September, then it's going to cool down.
in Russia?
Yes, in Russia.
See this map, Frankie? This is all hot spots that the satellites have taken. So this is all fire behavior. Most of it, maybe not right in Krasnojarsk or Novosibirsk or Omsk, or maybe that's human, but some of those are definitely fires going on.
I'm thinking, would a
by
country in
Yakutsk.
war, wouldn't another country want to start fires if they were in a dry condition? I mean, that would be kind of a scary thing.
No. Just the heat signatures of towns and things.
Oh,
Silliness. What have you been up to lately, Janet Dermody? Talk to us about Cape Breton Originals.
oh, Cape Breton Originals has just been focusing on animals lately. I've been so busy with work, but I'm off work for a while, so hopefully some more interesting things will be coming around instead of just my yard animals. You know, the ducks and the squirrels and bunnies are cute, but it gets old. Yeah.
You have cows out in front of you like I do.
Yeah, and just waiting for the heat to come so we can get to the beach and actually not freeze in the Atlantic Ocean. You know, it's not too much to ask for a little bit of heat in the Cape Breton in July, is it? Apparently.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. When it feels like that it's 21 and that's the max temperature, you know, it's a little disappointing. You get out of the water and you're freezing. You go into the water and you're freezing.
Well, you're complaining to a guy who lives in the mountains where the water is always freezing, where I live. And it comes out of the mountains. It's cold. And what was our high today? 25 or something, you know? So, I mean, down in Quesnel it's like 30 degrees, but up here in the mountains, 4,000 feet, she's a little bit cooler. You're listening to the show on CFR 88.7 FM, CK 95.9 FM, CFBX 92.5 FM. That's Prince George, Prince George, Winnipeg, and Kamloops, and also on Shaw Spotlight Cable TV. So thank you for joining us. And of course, the show airing on Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude, the YouTube channel. So you can always catch us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. We do the recording of the show and we live stream the recording. So if you're on the live stream right now, this isn't actually the show that you're watching. It's the live stream of the show recording. And we will send the recording of the live stream that's edited to the radio stations and TV.
I wouldn't want to say that 5 times fast. Even I wouldn't want to say it twice.
I
That was
say
a
it
lot.
every week twice.
Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey.
I'm Frankie McDonald. You're listening to me, Roger Weather Report every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Atlantic. Joey Only is a really nice guy. He does weather reports on every Thursday night with Imogen Bailey, Brandon Hulk, and all those guys. And Trey Campbell, Houston, Texas, Gabriel Berardo, the rap weather band, things like this on Joey Only Show every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic. Terrible Weather Do, Comedian plus Meteorology. Terrible Weather Do. It's on CFUR 88.7 FM, Prince George, CKUW 95.9 FM, CFBX 92.5 FM, Kamloops, British Columbia. It's on Shaw Spotlight TV, Shaw TV, all across the entire country of Canada. Joey Only's a really nice guy. Joey Only has a YouTube channel. He runs a podcast every Thursday night on his YouTube channel. Comedian plus Meteorology every Thursday night at 7 p.m. 11 p.m. Atlantic, 7 p.m. Pacific. Terrible Weather Do, Comedian plus Meteorology, Comedy plus Meteorology equals Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday night. Best luck to I'm Frank. You're listening to Joey Only Show every Thursday night. Say bye for now. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey.
Hilding McDonaldson. Talk to us about how dry it is out there, well west of Prince George, south of Burns Lake.
Well, we are having it's haying season now, of course. We start our hay mowing usually at on July 1st. And this week, when I'm mowing hay, I'm actually making little circles out in the field wherever there's a green spot, because where it's not green, the hay's only like 2 inches tall and it's all brown and dried up.
Oh,
So we
God.
have it really bad here. We're only going to make enough hay on our farm to feed maybe 40 cows for the winter, and we have 140 cows. So we are going to have to buy the hay for the other 100 cows.
Oh,
Unless you
no.
feed the other cows to the other cows.
Well, there does happen to be a fairly good market right now. We have the option of selling some cows, and we also found some hay that we got for last year's price. So we're floating fairly good yet, but we need about 5 more truckloads of hay to complete our amount for the year.
Yikes.
For you. Your neighbors up there all got long, grassy fields. Yeah. Is there a possibility you could offer to mow your neighbor's lawn and keep the hay?
No, I think what Hilding's saying is the drought conditions have hay down across the board. This isn't going to be a problem just for Hilding. It's going to be a problem BC wide. And look at Southern Alberta and look at Southern Saskatchewan. That drought code that we were looking at earlier is high. It's very high. So throughout Western Canada, getting good hay crops off this year is going to be a problem.
That's crazy. And Nova Scotia, they just said on the news, their strawberries are drowning. So the fields they're going rotting. It's one extreme to the next.
Yes, that's what climate change does. It makes things extreme.
And a lot of Japan has strict laws over there. And now I'll talk about certain things in Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, and Cambodia, Thailand, those countries.
What certain?
In Japan, you're not allowed to say, I don't like this sushi to the chef.
Really?
I don't know. Imogen Cookie Bailey, down in Victoria, British Columbia, we still haven't really heard from you much. You got your head in a bubble because you've just, you're the space babe, Imogen herself. What can't you say in Japan with a bubble on your head?
Well, with a bubble on your head, if it's sealed, you can't say much of anything anywhere. Every country has weird laws. Actually, up until the 70s, hold on. You know what? I'm acclimatized to the Earth's atmosphere. I'm doing good. Took a while, but I've settled in.
My goodness.
I know, right?
Thank God we can have a normal show now, kind of.
Yeah. So, okay, in the 40s, the Criminal Code of Canada actually prohibited the printing, publishing, and distribution of comic books that depicted crime. They all had to be fluffy and cute and life-affirming, or whatever you call it. So the idea was to protect children from potentially harmful influence of crime-fighting heroes. It was repealed in the 70s, and we've moved on since then because books are very violent. But up until the 70s, you couldn't show crime fighting or whatever in comic books. So
wow.
Yeah, every country has weird laws. If you paid attention, you'd know this. Every country has weird laws. Like for a long time in Ontario, in Canada, in Ontario, before amalgamation with Ottawa, it was illegal to paint your garage doors purple. I
found it though. It's confirmed. There's a really cold weather and some snow heading for New Zealand late this week and the next week. Lots of rain up in the mountains of New Zealand. Lots of snow in the mountains of New Zealand. Lots of rain in the coastal areas of New Zealand. Weather's really, really, really cold in New Zealand. It's getting some cold air in southeastern Australia and places like this as of right now. As for Japan, lots of rain in Japan right now, like Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, those places. A lot of thunderstorms, rain in Cambodia and Philippines and Malaysia and Singapore and Indonesia. And lots of rain going on in northern Indonesia right now. India's in the monsoon season right now.
15 people were killed by floods in southwestern China.
Sweet.
Frankie?
I found it all. Lots of rain heading for England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland so far. Then I got a heat wave heading for Norway, Finland, and Sweden with some thunderstorms and rain. Then I got some cooler weather heading for UK. Then I got more stormy weather in the United Kingdom with rain and wind in London in the United Kingdom next week.
UK just endured its hottest June since records began. That was back in 1884.
Wow.
I found it all later on in the weekend. Northern Turkey's going to get lots of thunderstorms and rain in northern Turkey by the Mediterranean Sea.
Okay, now when it rains there, is it going to rain gravy? Is this like with your onion rings where it was raining gravy, or is it because it's turkey and they need a little moisture on the meat and it's going to rain gravy?
July 9th. As for this year, it's not a leap year. Next year is a leap year. As for this year, July 19th is 200th day of 2023. It's July 19th. That's the 200th day of this year.
Okay, I got a question about that, Frankie. So now time appeared to move 5 times more slowly in the first billion years after the Big Bang happened that started the universe. Quasar clocks, which scientists have been able to actually track and take a look at, have been able to observe this time dilation, which is brought about by the relativistic expansion of space. And this has showed us we've been able to observe the slowing of clocks in the early parts of the universe because they still exist, because time is weird that way. Now, in that field of time dilation, how does that affect leap years? And how many sharks were born in the last leap year at the outer edges of space?
Wait a bit.
14.
Okay, so realistically, now, the observed time dilation is a consequence of the theory of general relativity combined with the expansion of space. At its heart, this is another Einstein's right again kind of thing, because that guy gets all sorts of stuff correct.
I found it. There's a lot of rain in Nigeria and Ghana and those places, in southern Chad and southern Sudan and South Sudan, and they're bringing a lot of thunderstorms of rain there right now. There's a lot of sandstorms coming off the northwestern coast of Africa, driving all the dry dust there all the way to Caribbean and Florida and all those places that's limiting hurricanes. Then it got the wind shear. As of right now, they got dry dust there traveling all the way from west coast of Africa because it's really, really, really stormy in Egypt, Libya, Algeria, Morocco, blowing all the sand.
This week, Frankie, the Earth hit an unofficial record temperature, 17.18 degrees, according to the University of Maine's Climate Reanalyzer. So it's not an official record, but scientists generally use longer measurements, months, years, decade. But these daily highs are an indication the climate has reached uncharted territory.
I found it in the end of this month. Then in the second half of this month, there'll be first sunrise down below Antarctic Circle. Amundsen Scott South Pole Station has 24-hour darkness right now. Amundsen Scott South Pole Station will be starting to get some daylight in later the second half of August into September. People up north, their 24-hour daylight up in Cookatook is right now. The first sunset up in Cookatook, that'll be the end of July. Once again, in the second half of August, Inuvik, Northwest Territories, Fort McPherson, Northwest Territories, Dawson, Yukon, leaves change colors. Fall starts up there in second half of August.
I wouldn't like all day either and night. That'd be weird.
Up in Dawson, Yukon, Inuvik, Northwest Territories, Fort McPherson, along the Dempster Highway and Klondike Highway, leaves change colors in second half of August every year.
Oh, that's too early.
The deportation might be possible for a Russian who took nude photos in Bali. He posed completely naked from the waist down at the highest point of Mount Agong, widely believed to be the Hindus to the home of the gods there. So he showed no respect for Balinese customs. And so basically what I'm saying is you can't stand naked on top of a mountain in Russia probably, but you also can't do that in Bali if you're Russian as well. So things you can't do in Russia, you can't do in Bali either, apparently.
Over in Nepal, on the one side of Nepal, it's really, really hot and humid. Once you get top of the mountains in Nepal, it's extremely cold. On the other side, it's really cold on the other side of the mountain in Nepal.
Have you ever been anywhere, Imogen, where it's really cold and you decided to take your pants off? I have.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of a pants optional person on an average day, so actually, yes, I have.
Well, yes, but how many times have you done it in the cold?
Quite a few, actually. I've had hypothermia a few times, and it was definitely pants optional kind of adventures and goofy things I was doing. That was put me in ice water with little to no clothing. So yeah.
Oh God, well that'd be a good video though.
in India, it's really hot and humid. I found it's really hot and humid in one India Nepal border. If you go up north, and it gets cooler gradually, so it gets extremely cold on top of the mountains in Nepal. Then it goes to Tibet. It's cold in Tibet.
You know where else it's cold? It's cold in Cape Breton.
Hey, Brett needs heat. Frankie,
Yeah.
throw some thunderbolts, lightnings. Throw some
Look at
lightnings.
That means
layers.
mountains prevent the hot air to go north of India. That's why they got big mountains in Nepal that prevent the hot air go above, to block the hot air to advance in north because they got mountains in Nepal for that.
Well, they better blow them mountains up. They're blocking the hot air. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it is worth noting. I just want to take a second to note something. So there's a lot of picking on Russia for what you can't do, but they're like all over the world, outdoor areas like the mountaintops and whatnot, parks that are considered to have religious importance. Pretty much any country you're in will have a law about nudity in those areas. So as far as like hiking trails go, when there's a religious component, there's a religious element that has decreed that that's a sacred area, the nudity is considered quite insulting. It's considered a vulgar thing to be nude in those areas. And,
Imogen knows this from experience.
Oh, yeah.
Were you out there running around naked, Imogen? What's going on?
I do a lot of that. I have very little tan lines. They're pretty much my only tan line is for my lipstick. So
Okay, so
Middle East is the strictest of all over Middle East.
it's time for fun facts about the summer. Has everybody got their summer fun facts ready? All right, here's your first fun fact. The Eiffel Tower gets taller each summer because the monument experiences thermal expansion that tends to cause the structure to grow in the summer heat. It gets inches taller in the summer. Fact number 2. September is the month
it's in winter.
September is the month with the most birthdays.
Oh yes, I can confirm. Doing birthday club.
Can't imagine why.
All right. Here's your next question. Where does the dog days of summer phrase come from?
Sometimes it's the middle of late July, all the way to middle of August. That's dog days of summer. Then once again in the second half of August, dog days of summer is over.
Yeah, what does that mean, Frankie? Why is it called the dog days of summer?
That means that's the center of the summer.
Yeah, why is it called that,
the
though?
sidewalk.
Where does that saying come from? Anyone have a guess? Brandon?
The hottest days of the summer.
Well, it's because the
Virgin of Dust.
constellation Sirius looks like a dog in the sky, and it's usually up when they're...
dog days of summer.
Hey, what's all this? What's going on with our audio there? Someone's audio is doing something weird.
Someone's Alexa.
Ah, okay,
Dear
yes.
Alexa.
So
Alexa.
I'm trying to give you the answer, folks. The constellation
We're not
Sirius.
listening. I guess that is because dogs melt on the sidewalk in summer. It's too hot for dogs. Give your dogs some water. Don't lock them in the car. Water them so they grow.
Frankie thinks
don't
it's
let
because
them
that's
melt.
the season you can get the most hot dogs.
See,
And
that's
did you hear about this? In Atlanta goes back to school for kids on August 1st, 2023. Down in the states and southern states to go back to school in early August, like Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, and those places.
It's a fact. So the reason why it's called the dog days of summer is because the constellation Sirius looks like it's in the sky at that time of year. That's during the hottest weeks of summer. It looks like a dog.
And Sirius is a dog.
Sirius is a dog.
Yes.
Woof, woof.
not again because dogs melt.
That means they starts getting really cold there up in northern British Columbia most times and sometime in the second half of August.
So lightning bugs, fireflies, they come out during the summer. What do they do for the rest of the year?
Zap you. Kidding.
Sleep.
Where?
I'm gonna go with sleep.
Ground.
Yeah, they hide in the ground.
They burrow in your skin. What you don't know, everyone watching and listening, is that you're infested with bugs and you don't even know it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome. Let the fear set in.
Oh, you
How
know what
many
I said?
thunderstorms on average hit the United States every year?
How many hit the United States every year?
Half,
Oh,
yes.
The capital.
All of them.
They could have a thunderstorm every day in Florida.
How many a year in the United States?
1 million.
What's the question?
Go 10% of that. 100,000 thunderstorms every year in the United States. So here's one about the dog days of summer. Americans eat enough hot dogs during the 4th of July to stretch from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles. How many times?
Well,
you
if it's
stretching
Joey
hot dogs?
Chestnut, he'd eat 62 hot dogs in one sitting. So
Why are
How
you
many
stretching
times
hot
back
dogs?
and forth across the country would that line of hot dogs be what gets consumed during 4th of July?
4.
I still want to know why you're stretching wieners.
30,000 hot dogs.
That's just a
5
weird thing
times.
to do.
5
Oh.
times across the country.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Wow.
if you took all the hot dogs Americans eat on just July 4th itself and stretched them across the country, it
See,
would
I'm
be
stretching wieners.
5 times. Imagine all those hot dogs.
Well, you're thinking about that many hot dogs. That's weird. We're not eating wieners today.
Mm-hmm. The man's thinking of too many hot dogs. He's got too much time on his hands.
Apparently, Joey's got too many wieners to stretch to have time on his hands.
This is a family show, folks. It's a family show.
Yeah,
here.
we're talking about hot dogs. Where are you going with this? What is
Yeah,
wrong with you?
Hot diggity dogs.
We're eating our hot dogs. What are you doing with yours?
Yeah, other than stretching it across the country. Like, what is going
So-
on here? Why are you doing this?
Where is the World Margarita Championship held? Every
Not
Not
here.
in my backyard.
Mexico.
No, right? I'd know that one.
It's in Arizona. Yes.
Too far zona. Got it.
According to the map, that's Nepal. One side of Nepal is red. Once you go over the mountains, and once you get into the other side of Nepal, it's green. It's cooler temperatures on the other side of the mountains. Tibet's always cooler.
See, those mountains are still looking like a problem. Maybe we'll find the Ark if we get rid of those mountains.
Yeah.
Temperatures
And
in
the
late
heat.
40s. Temperatures up to 60 with the humidex in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. It's really, really hot and dry. It's around late 40s this weekend coming in Saudi Arabia.
Here's a cool fact I found out today. So did you know the word tire comes from the term attire because a wheel with a tire is a dress tire. Isn't that cool?
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
What makes
That's
crickets
awesome.
chirp faster? Here's a summertime fact for you. What makes crickets chirp faster?
Oh,
Girl trick
adrenaline.
crickets.
I know why, but I won't say it on here.
Adrenaline.
Girl crickets make boy crickets chirp faster. Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, they do. See, I'm going down
They
that.
really
that-
like
that
each
rabbit
other.
too with
That's why they chirp
adrenaline.
faster.
You see a sexy girl cricket go by, you just want to do weird cricket things and chirp a little song, do that little leg rub thing that they do, which is just a weird thing to do. But they're crickets, so. But also, I mean,
All right, what's
from
real?
another planet, so y'all.
Anybody have a good answer?
Those were great
Good.
answers.
Yeah.
Best answers ever.
Never.
Those were
Well, the best answer
divine
would be the
answers.
correct answer, and the correct answer is not those answers.
Boring.
Well,
What's
you
the
are
correct
wrong.
Boring answer.
Our answers are correct now.
Yeah.
If anything's going to make a boy cricket chirp faster, it will be a good looking
A girl
girl cricket
cricket.
walking by.
Yeah.
They'll get that little
Tell
burst
us-
of adrenaline. They'll just want to go and build something or
Not if he's a
build something up.
stoic cricket like myself, who doesn't care about other beings.
I found it out over in
Who
Nepal.
insists a lot that he doesn't care.
When
What
you
makes
walk
crickets
north
chirp
of
faster in Nepal?
When you
Heat.
walk north in Nepal, its weather starts getting cooler and it keeps north in Nepal. So when it gets to the mountains, it's super cold like Mount Everest. On the other side, it's like plus 5 degrees Celsius is daytime high in Nepal, Tibet border.
Okay, so
Right. So nobody wants to know what crickets,
No,
what makes a cricket chirp faster?
no.
You don't want to
Let's-
know?
No,
No.
hurry up. Tell me. I'll tell you something we all want to know.
Okay.
We'll get to
Hot.
something interesting.
The hotter the temperature is, the more the crickets will chirp, the faster.
Okay. Okay,
A
so
lot of
something
cricket-
that like
a lot
three of
of
us have
cricket
already
players-
said that you weren't listening to and totally ignored when it was repeated 4 times.
Because you guys are all talking over each other and it's my fault. I can't understand what's going on.
Well, if you
In-
listened in the first place, you'd pick up at least some of it.
That's you were talking about girl crickets and boy crickets and baseball
And
and,
then temperature
cricket.
and humidity.
So who's
All right, so pertaining to summer, when you swim in a chlorinated pool, your eyes start to get red from this being in the water. A, urine, B, feces, C, sweat, D, all of the above.
Can you repeat that question?
When you swim in a chlorinated pool, your eyes start to get red from this being in the water. A, urine, B, feces, C, sweat, or D, all of the above.
Having anything in your eyes is going to make them go red, but pink eye being the famous pinkness of the eyeball due to having fecal matter in your eyeball. Yeah. See? The first thing I said, all of the above. But I definitely like pinpointing that you have poop in your eye because that's just extra gross.
Well, that's why in the wintertime, when the pool's closed, I just I get in the bathtub and just put fecal matter in my own eye to relive the experience of being at the pool.
Why would you do that?
I
He
wouldn't
lives
do
in the
that.
bush. That's what he does.
I wouldn't do
this is
that at
why
all.
Joey
In
is
fact, I
single.
wouldn't go in a swimming pool either because I don't want fecal matter in my eye.
That's why I was first
Again.
in the dunk tank.
Yeah, I bet you. Eh?
You know what? That was also my rationale. Like this is why I was the first in my dunk tank as well. I'm like, I don't know who else is going in here, but I don't want to be at the end of that gross line. So I'm like, I will be the one to just be first in there.
Well, when
And
it's ice
promise
cold
everyone
water,
I'm
you
not
tend
peeing
to
in it.
lose control of your bodily functions.
Well, it's not that. It wasn't that cold. The guy kind of lied to me. He said it was ice cold. I was like, this is not ice cold.
He
But
thought you were fragile.
probably.
I don't know why he would have thought that because you are not fragile.
Maybe you should have asked him, would that wet ice cold or dry ice cold?
It was more of a dry ice cold, that's for sure.
Awesome.
Right.
Okay, so
Going off the rails.
Brandon, how big was your dunk tank? Like, was it just sort of like an average little one, or did you have a little bit more room to like swim around in there?
It was definitely an average one, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, how deep did the water come up to on you? Did it have a little window on the front? Mine had a window.
Oh yeah, I had a little window. First couple of rounds, I definitely went right above my head. That's for
You
sure.
went right under?
We're right under.
That's awesome. See, I didn't go right under. I just like got dunked and flailed around and cheered. I bounced around in it, but I didn't go right under.
Yeah.
Now, according to the weather models, this Saturday and Sunday, it's going to get really, really cold air in South Africa and bring a lot of rain and snow in parts of South Africa. The cold air is coming from Antarctica. It's headed right for South Africa. It's going to affect parts of Botswana with high winds, same as Namibia, Africa, and those places. And parts of Mozambique is going to bring lots of high winds in Mozambique and those places. Then it got really cold air heading towards South Africa this Saturday and Sunday coming.
So a question, is the wind blowing from Cape Breton to Africa or from Africa to Cape Breton?
That means then it got cold air coming all the way from Antarctica, driving all the cold air to Cape Town, South Africa, Johannesburg, South Africa, and some other cities in the coastal areas of South Africa. It's going to get really cold this weekend coming.
And the answer is yes, that wind's been back and forth from here to there. And it's going to do it.
So in England, pesky blackbird stripped an orchard of all of its cherries days ahead of a public picking event. All the cherries. Loose pigs have squeaked past police with hog-wild moves in Pennsylvania. Potbelly pig almost got hit by a Tesla and dodged cops before his happy ending. Firefighters
Happy ending.
though, have rescued a dog named Tippy who was stuck behind a toilet. So the Woodlands Fire Department found that Tippy was stuck behind the toilet, and that was too bad. He had his head stuck underneath the toilet there, and he's trying to find a cool spot during a record-breaking heat wave.
That is not how you drink from a toilet, Tippy. Your
So-
dog, you should know this. Who trained that dog? You don't drink from behind the toilet. You drink from in the toilet.
So lucky. Everybody in Texas was I'm sure they're all glued to the screen waiting to find out what happened to Tippy. Tippy's okay.
I'm just going to
Tippy,
put it out
tip
there
over.
that I'm just gonna put it out there that being from another planet, all this stuff is real weird to me. I don't know what you people do or why you're jamming dogs into like weird urinals and things or behind things that you pee in. It's weird to me that y'all do this. I spend the whole week surfing around the Milky Way. It is awesome. It is cold up there. There's lots of little hailstones buzzing around and there's big ass waves everywhere. Then I come down here and y'all have a dog jam behind a toilet and doing all sorts of weird stuff. I don't get it.
Just give the dog a bidet.
I know, right? It's like a perfect little fountain for the guy. Obvious to me, obvious to Janet.
Right?
Why is it not obvious to everyone else?
Well, we're coming to the end of our hour, and everybody who's watching the live stream, thanks for being out there. If you could, who do you got there, Frankie?
Hi, fans. It's Joey.
Hey guys, welcome to our show. How's the weather in Cape Breton?
Is Frankie getting swarmed by kids on
Ask
bikes?
him how the weather is, Frankie. Say something to them, Frankie. Ask them how the weather is there. Tell them they're on the show. Welcome to the show.
We're on the show.
Yeah, you're on show right now.
You're on a show. Welcome to a bad time.
It's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada, boys.
Hi. Great. Can we get a picture? Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna get a picture of Frankie. So if you're watching on the live stream, please hit the thumbs up. That really helps us. Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude. You can always find all the episodes here. All 111 or 12 of them now. We've been doing this for a while, you know, and we're starting to get better at it, I think. You know, so that's my pitch for the show. Thanks to CFBX, thanks to CKUW, thanks to CFUR, Prince George, and all you radio listeners. Thank you to Shaw Cable Spotlight. Frankie, how does everyone find you on the internet?
Jeez.
If you want to follow me on social media, my Twitter is @FrankieMacD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD984. My TikTok's FrankDonald984. My TikTok's FrankDonald984. My Clapper's FrankDonald984. My Twitch is FrankDonald984. My Snapchat is FrankieMacD1. My LinkedIn's Frankie MacDonald. And my YouTube channel is Dogs Knows. Best luck, yeah, Frankie Donald. You're listening to Joey Only Show every Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Atlantic, 7 p.m. Pacific. I got major news for you. Total solar eclipse is heading right for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8th, 2024. All you guys are heading for Sydney, Nova Scotia.
And it's a good thing that you're popular like you are, Frankie, because hanging out in the streets like you do late at night, those hoodlums, though, they all like you, so they didn't rob you. That was really nice of them.
I found it. Who's coming to Sydney, Nova Scotia for eclipse on Monday, April 8th, 2024, where the moon crosses over the sun and gets dark in the middle of the day.
That's why we let him know. We're like, you kids don't rob Frankie because he's on TV right now. We know.
Yeah, I think that my night's about to get real weird. I am.
Who's coming to Sydney
box
next year?
And I just opened the box. I
Joey,
think my night's about to get real weird. I like
Joey,
it.
who's coming to Sydney next year?
We're all going to be going to Sydney next year, see Frankie and see the eclipse. So I want to go up to the Cape Breton Highlands for the first time in my life. I've been to Nova Scotia.
No, you're going to
times.
Holiday Inn.
No, I know I'm supposed to sleep at the Holiday Inn, but I want to watch the eclipse at the Cape Breton Highlands. I want to go to the most beautiful place in all of Eastern Canada and witness the spectacular show from outer space.
Frankie was telling everybody they had to go to the Holiday Inn, and if they said anything else, he screamed at them, "The Holiday Inn!"
Well, yeah, because
Frankie's been very persistent.
Because I'm the only person who's sleeping on Frankie's couch.
Frankie's thrilled about that. Frankie needs another couch guy.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
All you guys will be going for a Holiday Inn on Monday, April 8th, 2024. Holiday Inn, downtown Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Okay, we'll sleep at the Holiday Inn, but I don't want to see. Anyways, everyone, it's been a great show of everyone just talking over top of each other all the time, and that's
Frankie. Why are you picking on the Holiday Inn? Like, why are you insisting everyone goes there?
Makes for great cohesive shows.
Is it just because that's near where you hang out, or like
They sponsor you?
That's close to Dooley's in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Holiday Inn.
It's conveniently located.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know this, Dooley's is Frankie's go-to hangout. That's where he has his nightly jug of beer or does karaoke. That's his hangout.
And for anyone who doesn't know this, we're out of time this week. Thanks for coming around, coming to the show, and tune back in every time.
Frankie's going to be hanging out at Dooley's, and I'm going to be building up my website a little more. Imogen.in.
And wait,
I'm going to be.
Did you hear about this? Compound Media is coming down Gary Dino's coming down. Jason Marshall, We Don't Have Cookies. Trey Campbell, Base Guy Show. All those podcast people coming down. Roger Wildchild Show's coming down.
As for me, I'm just going to be here accepting all the suffering that the universe has to give me. See you next week, guys. Bye.